How's it going, guys? It's Eclipse here, and today we're going to be checking out the bundles and all of the information that came out today as of the update. Yesterday's video did go over all of the things that were coming in terms of the operations and challenges, but this one's going to be focused on the in-game content and the vehicles that came in with regards to the console version of World of Tanks, and we're going to have a look at those in just a second. So if you already didn't know, there's the new Polish medium tanks that have arrived in-game that you can pick up from tier 4 onwards up to tier 10, obviously. So it's a whole new line on the Polish tech tree, which means you can get grinding if you've kind of had all of the previous tanks in the game. But for those of you who really want this fast-paced medium tank with good DPM, or fairly decent DPM, I mean, can't compete with the best ones, but it certainly is up there, and it also has that ability and mobility to get around the map and stuff like that. Now, we did go through these in previous videos, so if you want to check those out, you can do so, and you can also, check them out in game as to the in-depth statistics, but we won't go over that in this video. Now, we do have the CS63 skin earn challenge. This is one I covered yesterday, so if you want to check out all of the ops, then you can do that in the previous video that I will have linked at the end of this one. But this one is basically where you earn 325,000 or more damage in any number of battles with any of the Polish medium tanks on the tank line, and then you get this Scorched Earth skin. We also have the on-track event to the M6, the Progetto M40 Mod 65, which we covered a bit more in detail. Some silver and XP bonuses with regards to this line. Then we have a further bonus XP operation for getting 250 damage and 200 assistance damage in a single multiplayer battle, and it gives you a little bit of bonus XP on one tank. And then finally, we have the keycards re-rolled. We will actually go over these in this video just to kind of keep you in the loop with regards to what's actually available in them, and if you want to actually purchase them in game. Obviously, you can skip past this point if you don't want to watch what's actually in the keycards this rotation, because they have changed today. So yeah, you can just skip ahead right now. Other than that, if you have stayed, then we can have a look exactly what you can get out of them. The actual amount of gold that you get will always stay the same, I believe. They've never changed that, although they could in the future. But for this one, you still receive 150 gold for the confidential keycard. You'll also get a variety of different boosts from premium account time. You could get another confidential keycard, and you can see the actual drop rates on screen right now. So these are the actual rates at which you could possibly get a premium tank, or even things like premium account time. You've got additional gold as well, so you can get up to, I think it's like 900 gold or 400 gold maximum out of a confidential keycard. They're probably not the best one to actually purchase if you're going to purchase any of them, but you can certainly get a few low tier premiums. Nothing I would really recommend if you're going to purchase them with actual money that you have on your whichever account you have. Now, if you want to pick up the premium tanks, you can get the Gross Tractor, the M3 Light, the BTSV, the SU-76I Sexton 1, you've got the MTLS 1G14, and you get various different tier 4s. A lot of them are actually broken, but they're definitely not really worth getting and spending a lot of money. You're going to spend like £11 to get one of these. You're better off just actually purchasing them with gold if they actually come on discount or something. I don't think that really purchasing confidential keycards is actually worth it, in my opinion, and I'd much rather pay for the top one, which is the top secret keycards. The second ones that you can pick up are classified keycards. These are very similar, except you get more, you get a better variety of stuff out of them. You're more likely to get more amount, so you can actually get 15 premium tanks. Their minimum premium tank tier is 5, and they go up to 8. You can also get a lot more gold out of these, having a maximum of 1,025 gold, but you are guaranteed 275 with every single keycard that you open that is classified. Now, You can also get Commander's XP boosters and actual XP boosters, silver, premium count time, ×2 silver boosters and free XP as well. These are a little more worth it, especially if you actually have some of the premium tanks that are in it. You can get things like the Dreadnought, which is absolutely broken at tier 7, 700 alpha with like 252 heat pen, makes it absolutely brilliant. And you've got other things in there like the Bogatir, which is pretty broken at tier 5, and then you've got the T50-2 at tier 6 being really good. You've got the T78, which is somewhat decent, and then you've got a couple of tier 8s like the Somua SM, which is actually really, really good in game, and then you've got a decent range of other ones in between. You know, most of these are actually pretty decent. There's not a lot of terrible ones within this, and I think that you'd be pretty happy getting any of these, in my personal opinion. If you do actually receive a premium tank that you already own, you will get the gold cost. So if it's on sale, you'll get the reduced gold cost of that, but you will also get the gold cost. So it's not silver. So if you purchase a keycard, it will always be gold that you receive if you actually get the same tank that you already own. It will be a decent amount. So say if you purchase one classified keycard and you got the Somua SM, but that you already had, you get like 14,000 gold for it. So it's really, really good if you've got a lot of tanks to actually purchase these instead of actual gold. But for those of you that have got a very limited amount of premium tanks, then it's not necessarily such a good idea for you to be purchasing these ones. And then finally we have top secret keycard. There's a lot more variety of premium tanks that you can get. The minimum tier premium tank that you will get out of these is 7, and it goes up to 8, so you can get some really good ones. Still, the drop rate for a premium tank is 10%, and for a second keycard you can get a 5% chance. The premium tanks within this kind of lot of them are actually not too bad. I don't think that they're the best mix, but they've got a lot of really good ones in there. For example, we'll pick up out a couple of good ones. We've got the M56 Scorpion, which is really fun to play, along with the E25, the Tiger 131. You've got the autoloading artillery, the Equalizer, and you've also got things like the EOC Even 90. You've also got the Iron Rain, the Rheinmetall Scorpion, which are all really good tanks, along with the Progetto. There's a few in there that are good for those of you who maybe are a bit more experienced, like the Banshee Comet, that can be really fun to play. You've got things like the T103, which are not so fun, but they could be interesting and funny to play in a platoon. And then you've got some really old ones in there, like the T34. Now, that is pretty much all of the keycards. If you want to actually look at whichever is in these ones, you can just pause the video on screen right now, and I'll scroll up slightly slow so you can actually pause at a certain point. Then we are going to move back into the bundles that you can actually get with this week. The next one is the VK7501K. This is a brand new premium tank to World of Tanks console. It's a tier 8 heavy tanks. It looks similar to the VKB at tier 9 on the mouse line, or the VK or the King Lerva line. It's actually pretty decent, but I wouldn't recommend really picking it up. I think its armour really doesn't hold up that much, and I think it gets the stock VKB turret, which is pretty terrible and gets penned by most things at tier 8 and tier 7, so yeah, you're not really going to have that much armour. So yeah, I don't think it's necessarily one for you to pick up. It will be at full price as well, so it's probably looking in the range of 12,000 gold when you hop on your console, which isn't really worth it when you can look at some of the bundles that have far better tanks in a second. We also have cosmetics at 50% off, so that's both your temporary and permanent camouflage. So if you want to apply that to your tanks, it will be 50% off, as well as looking at anything that is emblems and stuff like that will also be 50% off. The only thing that it doesn't include is the skins, so they're not going to be reduced in price, which I'm surprised about. I would have liked to see a couple of skins being added to the store or something that you can pick up, but that really doesn't matter too much, and I guess Wargaming don't want to sell their skins at lower prices or something. Then finally we have the bundles of premium tanks that are going to be the main focus of this video. We're going to go through them and which ones are actually worth picking up and which ones really aren't. The bundles will run for just a week, so you'll have this week to pick up any ones that you think are potentially good, and then we'll actually go over the one I would recommend and also which ones are a good shout and which ones you should just avoid like the plague. The first one is actually a decent one. We've got the King Dragon Type 59, the Alpine Tiger WZ111. Now the King Dragon I believe is very similar to the Type 59-2, if not the exact same tank. You get decent penetration and alpha damage, you get a nice silver earn rate higher than the standard 150%, looking at 157%, so you can earn a lot more silver with this one, and you can also earn some more crew XP as well because that is 130%. So if you stack that with a commander that also has 1.3, it will actually be 1.6% earn rate overall. The rate of fire is pretty low on this, so you're going to be looking at, with all of the DPM buffs at around 2000 DPM minus the usual rolls on damage now being less than that, so you're probably looking at around 1800 DPM effectively, but actually like 2000. So also, you know, you can shift in this tank. You can go 56 kilometers forward, 28 backwards, or 20 backwards even, which means, you know, you can be mobile on the map, and I think it's a good shout. But considering you can pick up the Type 59-2 in the Battle Pass, it's probably not really worth picking up this bundle. And additionally, the Alpine Tiger is not particularly amazing. It's kind of like a very similar to the Kirovets or any of those line, you know, the Scourge, any tanks like that. I don't think it's particularly overpowered or going to really break the game, and I certainly wouldn't recommend that many people to pick it up. Yeah, it's just kind of like another Russian heavy, except it's Chinese. Then moving on to the next one, we have Heroes in Training. The Barracuda Emil 51, the Type 59-2, and also the Striker Kanonen Jagdpanzer. Now I think this bundle is somewhat decent, but then you have the thing of you getting the Type 59-2, which you already have if you have the Battle Pass, or you should be able to get that for free if you purchase the Battle Pass. I say it's free, but you know, equivalent, it's part of the Battle Pass, so you will have it if you do it. And so it kind of makes this bundle pretty not really that worth it, and there's certainly other ones you should be going for. The Barracuda is really good on its own, and so is the Striker. You can really have good games with this. It's kind of like a hidden TD. You can be pretty stealthy with this thing, but I necessarily wouldn't recommend purchasing the bundle just for the fact that you'll be having 60% savings, but it's not really effective because you'll be getting a tank that you probably already own, and therefore, you know, it's not actually 60% savings. So what will happen if you purchase this after getting the Type 59-2, you'll get the full silver price of this, so I think you'll get like 6 million silver or something like that, which isn't really worth it considering you'll be spending nearly £30 or £35 on this bundle to be able to pick it up. Moving on then is the Classic Trio. This one is, I don't know, I don't think it's very good either. These bundles are pretty terrible this week, and I really would save your money for the cheaper options this week because they are generally better. We've got the Panther 88, the medium tank from Tier 8. It's German. It's pretty lackluster. It's a pretty terrible tank, in fact, and it's commonly known to be very average. It has good DPM, but the problem is its armour literally doesn't mean anything. It's pretty, well, fairly slow for a medium tank. It doesn't really get up to speed that quick, and I think that most people are going to find this a struggle to actually play in game, so I wouldn't really recommend it. Additionally, as part of this bundle, we have the M6A2E1, otherwise known as the Mutant. This is a very old premium tank. Came in a long time ago. It might have been originally with the game. You get a really good silver earn rate, so you can earn a lot of silver with this tank. The frontal armour is somewhat decent, but it is not very effective against really high pen guns, which most tanks currently actually get, so I don't think that this armour really holds up that well. The turret is somewhat decent until you basically angle it at all, at which point it becomes paper, so people just go through that. And it's pretty slow as well, so you ain't getting anywhere fast. Yeah, I think this is kind of one of those that's been left behind a little bit. It's not particularly amazing. 320 alpha damage, which means trading with heavies is not very fun, because they probably do 400 to you and you do like 280 with the current rolls. Yeah, I don't think it's a particularly good tank to pick up, and especially as part of this bundle where you've got another tank that's absolutely terrible as well, really. And then finally in the bundle you get the Object 252U, which is pretty broken. It's the Defender. It's one of the best heavy tanks, I guess, at tier 8. But I don't think this bundle is really worth the 11,000 gold that you're going to pay for it. You're probably looking at around £28 for all of those together. And two of them one of them's terrible. The second one's kind of mediocre, pretty below average, to be honest. And then you've got a pretty broken one. So, it's up to you whether you want to spend that much gold or that much money on it. But personally, I wouldn't. And then finally, the last two bundles are actually pretty decent comparatively to the previous ones. We've got the Eastern Duo, which is the Warlord Panther, and the Type 62. Type 62 is actually a decent tank at tier 7. It's a Chinese light tank. It's got pretty low pen on its standard rounds, which means you're going to have to fire quite a bit of premium, and considering it only gets 140% bonus silver earn, it's not going to be the best tank to earn you money if you're going from that point of view. These things tend to hit on the move all of the time now. When you put all of the boosts and stuff to accuracy, yeah, these things can be super accurate on the move, and they can definitely be used. They've got good track traverse as well as turret traverse, which means you can genuinely just out traverse people in game. The armour can be a little bit troll to other light tanks, which means you can bounce a few rounds, but you can't rely on it against light tanks really, and anything above that, mediums, heavies, they're just going to go straight through you pretty much. So yeah, you've got to be aware of that. Using this like a proper scout tank is the way to go. And then the other one in the bundle is obviously the Warlord. Now, the Warlord is a tier 7 German tank. It's pretty good, or Japanese tank even, my bad. You get decent penetration on its premium rounds, but yet again you're pretty lackluster with its standard rounds. It's got 135 damage, which is pretty poor, but the DPM I guess makes up for it, reloading in about 4 seconds. Base, which you can probably bring down to about 3 seconds or 3.5 seconds if you use all of the DPM boosts that you can have available to you. Accuracy and aim time is going to be okay, especially with the boosts. And then, yeah, your armour pretty much doesn't mean anything. Even the turret is pretty weak to most tanks, and even then you've got this massive cupola on top, which people can put rounds straight through, and if they see any of your hull, they'll just go straight through the upper plate. So I don't think it's particularly one that's going to be benefiting you that much if you don't pick up this bundle, but it certainly is something interesting to try out. And obviously there's not that many Japanese premiums, so if you want one to train up your Japanese crews, then I guess you can go with this one. It's not that much gold, and it's probably going to cost you around £10 if you want to pick it up, somewhere around there. And then finally we've got the best one this week in terms of the bundles, and that's the Cromwell B and the T3488. These are two broken tier 6s, and it's probably the one that you want to get. The Cromwell B is a fast firing, super agile medium tank. You could pretty much almost call it a light tank. This thing gets really high penetration on its premium rounds, which means coming up against tier 8s is no problem in this thing, as well as decent standard rounds at tier 6, which means you can make a little bit of money with this thing, but you're not going to be making a drastic amount. It's got super high rate of fire, which means you can track people, and it's good for those of you who like to get round and flank people. It's definitely a really, really good tanking game, and certainly one I would recommend to others. I've 3-marked it myself, and yeah, it certainly is really good. And then finally, as part of this bundle, is the T3488. B88. This is the high penetration, high alpha damage at tier 6 tank that can really compete with tier 7s and some tier 8s, to be honest with you. You've got almost 10 rate of fire rounds a minute, 220 alpha damage. You're looking at 2,200 DPM nearly. If you penetrate all shots in that minute, then yeah, it can be stupid if you boost it up as well with all of the DPM buff perks like rapid loading and also the equipment that reduces the loading time. Yeah, I think that this tank is one of the most broken at the tier. You don't get any silver bonus for playing the tank, which means you do lose money if you fire premium only, which is one of the key things that is not so good about this tank, the standard pen being 132 and the premium pen being 171. So you will have to actually fire premium at tier 8s to be able to have even a chance at penning them. This thing can shift at 54 kilometers an hour, so it's not even that slow. Yeah, this thing's pretty broken in my opinion, and certainly one bundle I would 100% recommend you picking up. It's also the cheapest bundle for some reason, so yeah, definitely one I'd pick up if you like the low tiers. If not, maybe just hold off this week from buying any. Obviously, as part of this discounted premium tanks every week, any of the tanks that were in the bundles are available on the premium tech tree for a 15% discount, so you can just purchase one tank instead of them in the bundle for 15% off. Not the biggest bonus off, definitely not one I would really suitably want to pay, but you know, if you really have been waiting for a tank to come out and you were going to purchase it anyway, the 15% savings could maybe push you over the edge to actually get it. So, you know, that's just something to note down. And then finally, the last couple of tanks are the weekly deals and also the personal offers that you can see in game. The first one is the Ariete Progetto M35 Mod 46. This is a pretty broken tier 8 Italian medium that has the auto reloader or auto loader, which is really, really good. And yeah, it's definitely one to train up your Italian crews as well as have a bit of fun, and it's not going to cost you the most amount of gold ever, only 5,700 for a tier 8 medium that's actually really good in game. Certainly one I would recommend if you were wanting to pick up a certain tank this week. And then finally, another broken Cromwell tier 6, the Cromwell Snakebite. This is, instead of being a medium tank, this is a light tank that can go like 70 miles an hour or kilometers an hour. I believe top speed, or 80 kilometers an hour top speed. So this thing is absolutely rapid. The one trade-off is that you don't get very much pen on its rounds, and also the damage of this is a little bit less than the Cromwell itself. You do get that rate of fire increase, so you fire every 3 seconds base, which can be reduced even more. You do earn a little bit of silver with this, so you can make a little bit of money back on those premium rounds that you do fire, but you're not going to be making tons. Definitely one I'm going to pick up this week for only 2,000 gold as well. Is definitely one that you'll have some fun with, and certainly just rampage across the map at 80 kilometers an hour. And finally, the personal offers. We have the Tiger 217. I believe this is a tier 6 Tiger, similar to the Citadel, I think. Yeah, it's another Tiger. There's about 50 different variants of the Tiger in the game, so if you want to pick up a premium Tiger, you can do that. There's the Javelin. This is the Kruppstader Waffenträger at tier 7, I believe. This thing's pretty good. You know, it's very, very sneaky and low profile, so you can use it with a camouflage build. Yeah, it can be really good, and it's probably looking in the range of about 4,000 gold, 5,000 gold to pick up in game. And then finally, the FCM50T. Definitely avoid this one at all costs. It's a very, very left behind tank in the current meta on World of Tanks console. Definitely don't buy the FCM50T if you want to, you know, be competitive at all in game at tier 8. Certainly not one I'm ever going to pick up or play. And that is pretty much everything for this video today. I hope you guys did enjoy. If you want to leave some of your own comments as to what tanks you think are good to pick up, then do so below. Other than that, I hope you guys have a good rest of your day. If you want to check out some more content on the channel, you can do that above. And don't forget to subscribe to see everything I do upload on World of Tanks console yourself. Other than that, once again, have a good rest of your day, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.